Do you ever feel like your time's just slipping by, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, and that at the end of a week you don't have very much to show for it? Well, imagine reclaiming not just your time, but your mental focus and your energy, and at the end of the week having real concrete work that you're proud of. In today's video, we're looking into 7 productivity tips that the most successful people live by. Implement these 7 tips, and you won't just be doing more, you'll be becoming more. Let's jump into the video. Welcome back to Peak Life with me, Brandon. If you're new here, on this channel we look into what it takes to design, build, and live our peak life. Today we're tackling one of the most vital skills, productivity. Have you ever looked at some people and wondered how they can get so much done in a day? And then you look at your schedule and feel like you're not getting anything done at all? Well, today's video we're going to unpack that, and I'll show you 7 of the best tips that I have and that I implement every day in my daily life as an engineer. Let's dive in. The first principle is to prioritize tasks. There's a saying that you don't want to trip over a $10 bill to pick up a penny. And the same goes with your time. If you don't prioritize your tasks, you end up just reacting to the fires. And if you're anything like me, there's always a lot of fires. So instead you want to look at your day, either the night before or that morning, and list out the tasks that you need to complete. And then look at your different tasks and ask yourself, if I could only get one of these done, which one would have the biggest impact? This concept is thoroughly explored in the great book that I highly recommend you read, called The One Thing by Gary Keller. In practice, you want to tackle the big and important tasks first, and not get bogged down by all the small tasks that are easy to accomplish. Oftentimes this is going to require that you schedule it, let your entire team know, and set up time for deep work where you're not going to be interrupted. Which goes into our next principle, time blocking. This is something that I've been struggling with for the last couple years as an engineer. I would have countless to-do lists that would be 20 to 30 items long, and I thought that I could just keep on adding more and more to my to-do list. But without time blocking, I didn't have a visual way to see how long each task would take. Some would only be 5 minutes, but some might take 40 hours. So it made it impossible to know where I could slip in another task. So what I recommend is not using fancy apps like Motion or Asana or Trello to schedule your time, but instead just to use your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar and do it manually. And once you start using time blocking, you'll get better and better at it as you see the feedback of what tasks took shorter than you expected and what tasks took longer. It's also great to put in your reoccurring things every day. That way you can look at the time blocks in between and the entire team knows not to interrupt you while you're going to be in one of these deep work blocks. One tip is that nothing's ever going to be perfect, so start off just scheduling 60% of your day. And then as you get better, you can increase that up to 80 or 90% of your day, which will still allow for interruptions, but that way it won't cause frustrations to you. And eventually, you'll come to the mindset that if it's not in your calendar that day, it's not getting done, and that's just the way it is. Principle number 3 is to avoid multitasking. Many people think that multitasking is a great way to get a lot done. But those people aren't doing real deep work. Yes, you can multitask when it's shallow work, like answering emails or bouncing back and forth calls or quick questions. But as soon as you're producing anything of value, you need to focus on that one single task. And when you're multitasking, it doesn't allow your brain to come up with the creative ideas. And when you look at the studies, science tells us that our brain is optimized for focused work. I know in my own experience that I accomplish way more when I do sequential work compared to trying to multitask. And if you're finding this difficult, and a lot of us do because focus is such a hard thing to keep these days, try the Pomodoro method where you work for 20 minutes and take a 5-minute break. This is a great way to reinforce the periods of focus. The fourth principle is taking scheduled breaks. When you're working really hard at something, your brain gets tired and it needs a reset. And if you don't do this in a scheduled manner, what ends up happening is your focus will shift, and then you'll just be sitting there not getting anything done but thinking that you're working. As mentioned in the previous section, try the Pomodoro method. Or if that's not enough focus work, try working for 90 minutes and then taking a 15-minute break. You'll be amazed by how much you get done, even though you're taking these scheduled breaks. But the key is when you're working, when you're on, it has to be completely focused. Your phone shouldn't be in view. All your notifications should be turned off and you should be only working on that one single thing that you're focused on. Principle number 5, review and reflect. It's all well and good to think that you're getting tons done every day, but if you're not reviewing how your day actually went and comparing that to how you want it to go, you're missing the feedback loop and you won't have room for improvement. You might be getting way more done than you ever expected, or the more likely outcome is that you're having fires come up and you're not getting nearly as much done as you thought you could. So at the end of the day, I like to use the 5-minute journal where it asks me what 3 things went well and what could have made it better. I also like to start the morning with this, where I list what would make today great and things that I'm grateful for. When you just take a few minutes to review and reflect, it helps you understand what you've achieved and then also what you need to tackle tomorrow so that you can stay on track for the goals that you set out for yourself. Principle number 6 is leverage technology for efficiency. And let's face it, technology is often seen as a distraction. We're always on our phones, there's always email notifications buzzing, we're constantly hitting the refresh feed on YouTube. But there's countless ways that you can use technology to your benefit. There's great apps like Monday.com, Asana, or Trello that you can use to manage all of your projects. There's things like Notion where you can create databases and workflows so that you can systemize your entire life and work. Or even using your Google or Outlook calendar to time block things that are important to you so that you know they get done. So while technology can be a distraction, you can also use it to your benefit. You just have to make sure that you're using technology and technology isn't using you. And finally, the most important one of all, number 7, is self-care. And when I mention self-care, I'm talking about sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness. These aren't luxuries, these are necessities. Because if you're sick or worn down, you're not performing at your best. If you're eating poorly, you're leaving performance on the table. Because your physical and mental well-being directly affects your performance and productivity. So make sure that you're eating healthy, sleeping enough, which is minimum 7 hours a night, exercising. I try to get 5 or 6 days a week, and then also using mindfulness to reflect on my days, set out my goals, and be grateful for what I already have. So there you have it. 7 key principles for productivity to help you improve your life. If you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for spending your time with me. I'm Brandon, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.